Hello and welcome to the Watchman Ambassadors Training. I'm Tony Perkins and I want to personally thank you for taking time to learn about this important ministry. I'm absolutely convinced that our nation cannot turn itself around without Christians like you and churches like yours becoming more involved. For more than a decade, FRC has been encouraging, equipping, and energizing the local church to engage our culture, to preach the whole counsel of God, to pray for spiritual revival, and to partner with other churches to do the same. Now imagine this, if tens of thousands of churches like yours, representing millions of Christians, were to stand for religious liberty and to vote guided by biblical values, our country would be a totally different place. But to have the kind of impact that will truly transform America, we need your help. And that is what this video is all about. Randy Wilson is our National Field Director for the Watchman on the Wall outreach, and he will explain what it means to be a Watchman Ambassador, and he'll walk you through the entire process. Thanks again for standing with us. And now here's Randy.
Thanks, Tony. Hello, my name's Randy Wilson, and it's my great pleasure to walk you through the process of being a Watchman Ambassador for your church. The need and opportunity has never been greater for people like you to make a difference for the cause of Christ. We all see it in the news on a regular basis. Our faith and religious freedom, as we've always known them, are under serious attack. Time is running short. If the church doesn't take a stand for righteousness in America, who will?
For the past decade, Family Research Council's Church Ministry Department has employed strategies and tools that empower pastors and churches to help lead the spiritual awakening and moral renewal we need. We call this movement Watchmen on the Wall, based on Isaiah 62:6. I have posted watchmen on your walls. They will pray day and night continually. Take no rest, all you who pray to the Lord.
We challenge and equip church leaders to take on the biblical role of watchmen. Watchmen who watch what is going on in the culture, who pray for the wisdom to engage it courageously and winsomely. Watchmen sound the alarm from the pulpit, and they lock arms with like-minded church leaders in their communities. Through the Watchmen on the Wall initiative, FRC has engaged thousands of churches in our growing network through our various forms of outreach and resources.
Watchman on the Wall offers national, regional, and local pastors' briefings, attended by more than 4,000 pastors every year. We provide digital, downloadable resources on our user-friendly websites. We create and offer church bulletin inserts, sermon starters, PowerPoints, videos, and pamphlets with biblical perspectives on issues and citizenship. We provide methods so that any church can register values voters with our registration toolkits, websites, and DVDs. We lead a call to fall movement to pray for our nation alongside millions of fellow believers in thousands of churches in all 50 states. We provide culture impact team manuals and turnkey video training for church leaders. And finally, there is our educational materials on conducting church-based citizen action within the law.
We have also been equipping and encouraging pastors to become watchman pastors with a threefold commitment to pray, preach, and partner.
Watchman pastors pray and lead their congregations to pray for revival in the church and for our nation. Watchman pastors preach the whole counsel of God on citizenship, policy issues, and the culture. And watchman pastors partner with at least 3 other pastors to do the same.
To date, through these efforts, over 10,000 pastors have already joined the Watchman Pastors Network. But if we're truly going to transform America, Tony believes we must see this network grow to at least 40,000 watchman pastors. To accomplish this objective will require a significant expansion of our current resources. No army can advance without sufficient support, and this is where you come in. In addition to the growing support we're receiving from a wide variety of sources, we're inviting the local church to participate in helping fund this national Watchman on the Wall movement through something simply called the Watchman Fund. This is separate from the general operating budget at FRC. It's a special designated account which is funded by churches for churches to raise up thousands more watchman pastors to transform America and to stand with the church around the country whenever our religious liberties are attacked. Here's a recent example.
In the city of Houston not long ago, the openly gay mayor began harassing local pastors who opposed a bill giving transgender men the right to use women's restrooms. She actually subpoenaed the sermons of 5 pastors who led the opposition to a bathroom bill that was to go before the citizens. Family Research Council was able to come alongside Houston pastors and sound the alarm. The nationwide pressure forced the mayor to back down from her unprecedented attack on the pastors' First Amendment rights to freedom of religion and free speech. Houston pastors were able to win the day. Though they were outspent and outmanned by the opposition, the church stood together, and the bathroom bill was overwhelmingly defeated. This is just one example of how your church's support would be helping other churches.
Every church has important projects they support financially, such as missionaries around the world or causes in their own community. We are seeking a gift of just $500 a year from your church to support the Watchman Fund. That's not $500 a month, that's just $500 a year, which we think is affordable for most churches. It may not seem like $500 would make a big impact, but this unique approach is based on uniting thousands of churches to participate. We currently have over 10,000 Watchman pastors already signed up, with another 30,000 or so in our greater network. But there are at least 100,000 evangelical churches in America. Here's an illustration of how this can grow dramatically.
Let's say your church agrees to help with the Watchman Fund through an annual gift of $500. If 500 other churches also participated, that would be 500 churches at $500 each, or $250,000 a year, to help underwrite the Watchman on the Wall outreach. Now imagine if 1,000 churches joined this movement. Yes, that would be 1,000 times 500, or $500,000 a year for the Watchman Fund. In the next couple of years, our goal is to find at least 2,000 more churches to become Watchman Ambassador churches. That would provide $1 million annually and fully fund the National Watchman on the Wall outreach.
This is how we're going to raise up thousands of Watchman pastors to influence millions of Christians in their congregations. And this is how we're going to transform America. But it starts with you. At this point, you might be asking, why me? Why doesn't FRC just go directly to these pastors for the $500 annual gift they're seeking? The answer is quite simple. It would take us years to develop the personal relationship you already have with your church leaders. Rather than getting a cold call from a total stranger from FRC, your pastor would be far more open to hear about a project that's important to you because of his trust and appreciation of you as a church member. If it's important to you, it will be important to your pastor. That's why we're asking you to be our ambassador to your church on behalf of FRC's Watchman on the Wall National Outreach. By saying yes, you are agreeing to be a Watchman ambassador. And now let's walk through the simple process of how to be a successful Watchman ambassador.
This presentation you're watching is part of what we call the Watchman Ambassador Kit. It's important to familiarize yourself with all the information in the kit before you talk with your pastor. Inside the kit, you'll find a brochure with general information about Family Research Council. This brochure is something you should give to your pastor who might not be familiar with FRC. There's also a short DVD that's about 5.5 minutes long, which is a great overview of what the Watchman on the Wall is all about. You should watch this for yourself first, and then be sure to give it to your pastor so he fully understands the purpose of Watchman on the Wall. Also included is a colorful booklet which explains our plan to help pastors transform America. Again, you should read this over yourself first so you fully understand it, and then pass this on to your pastor when you talk about the Watchman Fund. And finally, you'll find a Watchman Ambassador brochure with written instructions to assist you for future reference and a helpful sheet with tips and common questions that may come up. These simple tools, covered in prayer, along with the personal relationship that you've developed over the years with your pastor, should be all you need to be successful.
Let's give him a call.
Yep.
Your next step is to determine who would be the best person in your church to talk to about a donation to the Watchman Fund. It may not be your senior pastor. It might be the missions pastor, a board member, or another appropriate leader in your church. Once you've made that determination, you're now ready to set up an appointment to discuss it with them.
We suggest you call ahead to make an appointment for a relaxed setting, such as in their office or at a local coffee shop.
Hey, I wanted to see if you could help me out. I would like to make an appointment with Pastor Bill to share with him something that my wife and I have on our heart.
Your goal is to find a period of uninterrupted time at their convenience so you can share the full story and not be rushed. Normally, the meeting would take about 30 minutes.
Thanks for taking time to see us.
Sure, what's going on, guys?
Be upfront with them that you want to talk about a special project to be considered for financial support from the church, much like a missions project.
This is a missions proposal.
We support local community missions. We also support global missions, but we'd like to partner with the Family Research Council to equip and encourage and support pastors.
Once you've set an appointment, let's review what should happen at your meeting. Be sure you have the informational brochure about FRC, the Watchman on the Wall DVD, and the booklet about championing pastors to transform America.
Share about your own interest in FRC. Be sure your pastor knows that you are personally invested in your ministry. But don't assume your pastor knows about the Family Research Council. Many pastors don't.
I realized that the decisions that were made by our federal government in Washington trickle down to where we are. They affect us. They affect our families. The people who are involved with Family Research Council, they know the ins and outs of Washington, and they can be our voice there.
The mission statement basically is to advance faith, family, and freedom in the government and in culture from a Christian worldview, and that's something we can support.
Remember, you'll be leaving the FRC brochure and other materials so your pastor will have all the information that he needs to make a decision.
Next, talk to them about the National Watchman on the Wall movement as outlined in the booklet. You can use this document to walk them through the highlights of how this movement is having a national impact to engage and change our culture for Christ. And remember, be sure to leave this with the pastor to read later, along with the Watchman on the Wall DVD.
You should then tell your pastor that you're seeking a gift of $500 a year for the Watchman Fund to help the Watchman on the Wall movement.
What we're asking the church to consider is a $500 annual gift in support of the Watchman Fund. Now, this is a designated gift to Watchmen to equip and encourage pastors to create a national network of pastors who pray, preach, and partner. This is not for the general fund of Family Research Council, but a very designated fund for this effort to equip and encourage and support pastors.
It doesn't matter how big your congregation is or how small. As a pastor, you have influence, and you can influence your congregation to catch a vision, and then the people in your congregation move out into the community.
You should ask about the church's procedure to consider financially supporting a project such as missionaries or local causes. Listen carefully to your pastor's response and directions. At no point do you want your pastor to feel pressured, but it's important that you receive a commitment or further instructions.
I'm very concerned about our nation and the direction it's going, and I think we need to have you come talk to our board. Would you be willing to come and talk to them?
Yes.
I'm willing to do that.
Okay, well, let's put you on the schedule.
Good.
All right.
Thank you for your time.
You bet, absolutely.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Of course, your pastor may decline for a variety of reasons, and that's okay. You've done your best, and you can always try again. Now let's talk about one of the most important parts of being a Watchman Ambassador, following up on your meeting. If the pastor agreed to support the Watchman Fund, you need to be the point person to make sure all the procedures are followed, and to be our advocate, making sure the church's $500 gift is sent. Please make sure any gift is made out to Family Research Council, indicating it is for the Watchman Fund. An envelope is provided in the kit for your convenience. And finally, we want you to know that our friendly staff is available to help you every step along the way. Just call us and we will answer your questions and get you any help you may need. On behalf of all of us here at Family Research Council, I want to thank you for your kind attention, but especially for your willingness to help as a Watchman Ambassador. Together, we can transform America.